So this episode, I have Denise with me from Muscle Tuners, and we're going to be talking about emotional stress, how it applies to the everyday person, workplace, as well as, getting more involved in like athletics and some of the stress that happens with that. So I'll let you take it away, Denise.
Hi, thanks for having me again, Brad. Listen,
Absolutely.
how many people walking around the world today are stressed out?
99.9%.
Yep, pretty much. And some of us, it's day-to-day stress that we think we're managing. We're doing a pretty good job. And other people are flat out completely, they're total walking mess, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm really, really keen on people going in to get help. So see, I go see a mental health counselor from time to time just to talk about stress going on in my life, because there's a lot I'm juggling. And it's just good to talk to somebody who's not trying to fix it for me, but I just get to vent. And then I say, well, do you have any tips for me? So I really, really recommend audience find something to manage their stress, whether it's talking to a counselor, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's pounding a bag, whether it's having a bubble bath, whether it's having a cuddle with your dog, just pets are really, really good at helping us drain stress. So pet a cat or a dog or something. Do something for your stress.
Or quit your job.
Well,
I've had a bunch of clients that all their stress went away by quitting the job or getting a new one, and then within a week, I just did an episode on this a while ago, and how much weight loss they did in 1 week just from taking that stress out. So it is a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. But what if you don't feel you can quit your job because you haven't got something to go to just yet? It would be more stressful, right?
Yep.
So there's special release points on the body. So that's what we do in Muscle Tuners, is mostly we are tuning up muscles, but we're also into tuning up for performance. And a lot of people will come to class, and a lot of them are they haven't been in school for a while and going, I'm taking a course and I'm stressed out about learning and applying this stuff. So we have different ways of helping them through that, but one that is, it's more specific. But however, for anybody in the world who does stress, I want to tell you, this is the most powerful technique I can give anyone.
Ooh, let's see it.
It is the most. Okay, you can't wait, right? How many times have you seen somebody hold their forehead and go, oh my goodness?
Daily, if not weekly.
Right? You see pictures of people on the stock exchange and they're all holding their forehead going, oh, we're going for a loopsie-doopsie. Or, you see a mother dragging kids through the zoo or whatever, and she's holding her forehead and dragging the kids through, right? I've seen so many pictures in magazines, and it's funny because it is a natural activity. And how many parents will wake up in the night with the kids are screaming with a bad dream, and the mother or the parent, whoever the caregiver is soothing the child's brow. It's very instinctual to hold the forehead, do something with the forehead. So here's the trick. Everything looks simple, and everything is simple if you know the trick.
Exactly.
So there's pressure release valves just above your eyebrow, halfway between your eyebrow and your natural hairline. So guys and gals, if you've ever had a receding hairline, imagine where it was first naturally. It's halfway up there, and you'll notice there's a bump. You have a frontal bone right there. And so you really just want to touch right there by the above the colored part of the eye. Great. Now, you got the right spot. You want to know what the super secret ninja tip is to this one.
Yes.
You have to touch it as lightly as you can. No pressure.
I was trying to push in.
No, because they're pressure release valves. You push in, the pressure can't come out. So imagine it's like a little butterfly just landed on your forehead, as lightly as you can, or you can just put your whole hand across your forehead. Like that. Perfect. Hold lightly. Okay, so that is the correction. That is the activity. Now, take your hand down for a second. Let's do a setup. I'm going to invite your audience to think of something that's stressing them out. Please don't do this while you're driving, because the correction kind of can put you in a bit of a zone. So just as you're listening, think of something in your life today that's stressing you out. So don't have to talk about it. This is really good all very private, personal. Think of something that's stressing you out. Please don't make it a massive, I was raped in the past, because this is not that type of corrective technique. This is for something going on day to day, today, or something coming up soon. Got it?
Think about your spouse, everyone.
Or your spouse's parents, your in-laws. Okay, or your kids, right? I've used this more than once, raising twins. Okay, so you've picked something very specific. Great. Slam your hand on your forehead lightly. Good. Now all you're going to do is think about that situation. And as you're considering that situation, just notice, because different people have different styles of noticing things. So I'm going to use broad language. Recall this situation, imagine it, and see what you see. And hear what you hear. And feel what you feel. And notice where you're feeling it about that situation. And some people are deep thinkers, so they really want to think and consider and feel and think some more about it. So go ahead. Go ahead and examine the situation every different way you can, and keep breathing. And we're only going to do this until you get a deep sigh or you can't think about it anymore. And usually in about 30 seconds, you're done. But wait, there's more.
Just
imagine.
Wait.
Oh, you're still processing. Great. Keep going. Keep considering that challenge. And at some point, it's going to be harder to focus on the challenge, and it's a really good time now to imagine a more positive outcome. So if you see pictures in your mind, imagine you're Steven Spielberg and you are creating a new outcome. It doesn't even have to be realistic. It's just more positive. And if you feel things, notice the feelings are changing, how your body is straightening up, how your shoulders are back, how your head is up. Just notice how when you feel better, your posture is better. And if you're hearing things, what are you hearing? And if you're thinking things, what are you thinking? Keep going until you feel like you get a sigh. That's right. You did great, Brad.
Yeah.
So how long did that take? Larry, I don't know if you're seeing a counter, but that was maybe a minute.
Yeah, probably. I was thinking 45 seconds.
So tune into that stress I asked you to think about before we got started. Can you see it, feel it the same way? Has it changed?
I feel just more relaxed about it, and it's harder to even think about it like how fresh it was just a minute ago.
There you go. Now your unconscious mind is continuing to process. Okay. Even though your hand's not there, you're continuing to release. And somehow your unconscious mind knows, hey, you might like a happier ending than the original situation. So you don't know what words will come out of your mouth, if a joke will fall out of your mouth, like happened to me once. It's just like, well, I don't give very good jokes, and everybody laughed, the whole tension in the room changed, and it was great. And I want to tell you a little of the science. Are you interested in about a 30-second clip on the science on this?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what happens is when they put people on measuring devices, when you touch these zones right here in your forehead, it's literally attracting blood flow to the front part of your brain. So your prefrontal cortex. Do you know how important that part of your brain is to solving challenges and making decisions?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yes, it's like they say, hey, a lot of the men don't develop that, until they're about 28 these days. So if you want to improve decision making, focus, concentration, problem solutions. Hold your forehead and attract blood to that part of your head, because otherwise you're operating from your dinosaur brain, which I think is about the size of a walnut. Because you really, when you're stressed, the blood flow goes back. Wow. And that's why when you're stressed, you keep every little thing. By the way, then it takes 3 hours for your liver to break down stress enzymes, the stress hormones like epinephrine, adrenaline, right? And so by doing this, it's literally letting pressure out of your body, and your liver can recover so much faster. So now the next meeting you go to, or the next driver you run into in the street who's being rude, or the next person that gives you a weird look, you don't want to go and beat their head in anymore, because you're not as reactive, because you're dealing with little bits of stress as you go through. So I really encourage people to do this every day, to program their day for something they know coming up that might stress them out. And you just imagine, what if it does if it is challenging, so what? What if there's a good solution or a good outcome? Or at nighttime before you go to bed, and just go, that was a whole bunch of not good stuff happening in my day. I wish I'd been more graceful, more elegant, or had a solution for that. So hold your forehead and think over the situation in the day where you really just weren't performing 100%. And just imagine, what if it could change? And that's just it. Just ask the question, what if it could change? Go to bed, and tomorrow your body isn't grinding on the same old stuff anymore.
Exactly. And I would imagine if I start thinking about the same situation I was doing while we were performing that exercise, like later tonight, just do it again, right?
Right. If you still have any amount of stress over it, do it again. I have so many people, though, that they cannot believe in 30 seconds to a minute. Bang, they're off to the races, and they are more productive in their day. A lot of them don't even think about that challenge. Just they forget about it.
Yeah. So what about, you were mentioning stuff about like sports and fitness, how those kind of things can help, like in my head, I imagine like an important high school football game or something like that, and the team is nervous and stressing out over it. So that's like just at the moment, huge amount of hormones coming through their body.
Oh, you bet. And let's step back for a minute. Has this football team done well this season, or have they had a few losses?
Imagine losses if they're that stressed out.
Right? They're not pumped going, we're going to beat the living daylights out of it. We're going to win. Right? So if they're a little stressed about the upcoming game, that's based on old stuff, old memories. Let's say you're a racer and you've lost your race 2 or 3 times, and you're in the same, category of race, and you're going, here I am again. I'm going to come in last or middle of the pack, and I really want to win, and I'm here and I'm trying. What if you told your body that a different outcome is possible? Right? What if you were a football player whose butterfingers handling the ball, somebody who couldn't see the hole or couldn't, do whatever was required for that, or whatever position they're on the team, right? All they have to do is hold their forehead and imagine being a failure, not doing so great sometime in the past, and really feel it, really see it, really experience it, and hear the people naming them names or whatever was going on for them making a mistake and not performing at their optimum.
But then they need to see after that the possible outcomes of how you change that.
You are gold star.
If you don't do both parts, you're not getting the full healing process here.
Well, you get a heck of a lot just letting the old pressure out. Oh. Now, the ninja, the super tuner trick is then imagine a more positive outcome, and imagine the end of the race, imagine the end of the match, imagine you're like, woo, right? And you're just full of happy hormones that you just performed so great, that you were responding to signals from your teammates, that you were performing as a team. I can't even imagine if a team did this together before going out on the field. And everybody just went, okay, now you're playing your position and you're connected to every member on your team. Close your eyes and just feel it. And just, you're open to hearing what they're saying, the signals you're getting through your eyes, your ears, your senses, and you're just going to respond amazing, and you're going to kill it. We're going to win this game, and we're going to cheer at the end, and it's going to be awesome. And when you're holding your pressure release valves, this is coming out of your nervous system, but it's also dumping stress out of your muscles. So how many people are uptight because, once they did this and they flubbed, right? So the memory of that can be in those muscles, that action. So in your mind's eye, you imagine it. And I have a different kind of a performance I can tell you from personal experience. You got a minute and a half for me to tell you this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a nephew who studied at Royal Conservatory of Music for piano. And he said, can you come to my thing? There's this thing.
Big event.
This huge event, right? You show up and there are 200 people in this auditorium and they all have to go up and play their piece of music. So there's all these categories. You're sitting down and I says, I don't know. And he says, I'd love to have your support. And I says, I'll see if I can move something at work and show up. But in the meantime, tonight, before you go to bed, put your hand on your forehead and imagine playing the music, note for note. And what else is going on? Like, what happens at these things? I says, you have to get up and bow to the judges. He says, yeah, they're called the adjudicators. It's like, okay, so you're bowing to them. You sit down, you play your music perfectly. And then you get up, you have to bow again and go sit down and wait to find out how you did in the competition. He says, that's right. So he did that visualization. And the next day, I managed to show up. I couldn't believe that was my nephew playing that music. I didn't know he was trained to that level. And he gets up, he bows, he comes, he sits down, he goes, Anthony. He's just bouncing around. I've never played it that good in my life. I've never played it without a mistake, ever. And I'm going, that was amazing. And so at the end of this competition, he was awarded a gold certificate. And the person presenting it said, great improvement, because he had never gotten better than bronze before. And to get gold.
Wow.
And all because of the visualization while he was holding his forehead. And so if every Olympic athlete for Canada ever, if anybody hears this, I want every Canadian Olympic athlete to hold their forehead before they do their competition so that they shine.
Well, I think most of our listeners happen to be from America, so everyone pay attention. You're going to the Olympics, so we.
No. Only the Canadians are allowed to know this trick.
So it seems that's a great story. It almost seems like while you're doing this visualization with your hand over your forehead, that the people are performing like a version of like self-hypnosis, but it's not more hypnosis. It's just simply getting the blood to come up, release this physical stress, and that's where you get all your benefits.
Well, yeah, there's that scientific part of it. But when you talk about hypnosis, I can't argue that there isn't some kind of self-hypnosis at play.
Yeah.
Because you just kind of go quiet and you go inside and you see and you hear and you feel and you think, and then you come back. So I do think you're onto something. It's probably a form of self-hypnosis, and that can be extraordinarily powerful.
So, and then just even besides that, I guess meditation is also a form, but it's different protocols and all that. And meditation seems to do a lot to help people as well. But all these seem to be
they're same but different.
Yeah.
I think meditation is more about listening to your inner voice than programming in something you want.
Exactly.
So they're similar but different.
Yeah. It's all these different modalities. That's why I love doing this show. Get to meet people from all walks of life. And well, thank you, Denise, for that. Is there any final thoughts on the emotional stress and all the things we were talking about on this episode? Yeah,
thanks for that invitation. Seriously, audience, manage your day-to-day stress. Because if you don't, you turn into a big bowl of hormones, stress hormones, and you are more reactive. You are not being you're not performing optimally, whether that's at the office or on a competition. And teach it to your loved ones. So if you have a boss or a spouse or kid that's stressing you out, get them to do this and get them to chill so that they don't stress you out so much, exactly. Right? So please It seems so simple, yet it is really powerful. And I invite you to do it for yourself regularly and to share it with your friends and your family.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Denise, for all that.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And if people want to learn more, I'm sure you'll have the link on your show notes where they can get more of these types of tips, and another video where it's a short clip of how to do it in the written directions.
Absolutely. For our listeners, how do we find you? Website, social media? What's the best way to contact you?
My email address is Denise, that's Denise, at Muscle Tuners. That's muscle spelt just how you expect it, MUSCLE, and then tuners, TUNERS.fit, which is a new and different extension. That's the first 3 letters of fitness. And our website, obviously, is muscletuners.fit. Loads of information there. Freebies can be found. We give regular monthly for professionals or any individual. We run monthly webinars and access to all the content of the types of courses we do and testimonials. And we just love to help. So reach out if you have a challenge. I'm really, really happy to give you some kind of tip that's specific for you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for jumping on our show. And for all our listeners, I'll be putting all those links in the podcast details too, as well. So thank you, Denise, for jumping on. And she'll be with me for the next 5 episodes for this season. And hope to see you next time.
Excellent. We invite everybody to be strong, be confident, and be tuned.